very beautiful, very lovely, very rainy, and very amazing. How many times do you use very in a day? Very many times, right? How does it sound to hear the word very from me so many times? You'd be like, oh, I think she doesn't know enough words. Well, if you use the word very these many times, then the listener will also think that you don't know good words. That's what very does to you. It completely spoils your vocabulary and people think that you don't know enough English, and that's why you keep on using the word very. Okay, so what are we going to do today? I am going to help you improve your English by helping you kick out very from your vocabulary and get in some very interesting words that you can use to replace very. So if you want to learn all these words, then keep watching this amazing lesson with me. My name is Michelle and you're watching me on Let's Talk. Okay, so as you can see that we have all these very's on the board and we need to kick them out. So what do? Let's start. Let's look at the first word that we have, and this is very rainy. Okay, do you like rain? I love rain. And guess what? Last night it was raining heavily. But how does it sound when I say that? Okay, let me try it again. Last night it was pouring. Yes, you are smart. Pouring means it was raining heavily or it was very rainy. Okay, so very rainy is pouring. Do you know where this comes from? Okay. Have you ever asked anyone, please pour me a glass of water? Yes, that's where it comes from. It means to ask someone to put some water in your glass. That's where this word comes from, pouring. All right. Now, when it's very rainy and it's pouring, like it was last night, what did I do? Well, as simple as that, I went into the rain and got soaked. Okay, soaked is another word that you can use in English to replace very. So this word is very wet. When something is very wet, it's soaked, which means that there is so much water that it's dropping out of your body. So if you're dripping with water, you're basically soaked or drenched. Okay, soaked or drenched. Think about a cotton ball. If you put it in a glass of water, it'll become soaked. That's how it will happen to you when you go out when it's pouring, okay? So don't get soaked, because if you get soaked, then you will become frail. Frail. Now we have another word. Well, this word is another word that you can use to kick very in this pair. Very weak means frail in English, okay? Frail. So if you feel that you are sick and you're not doing well, you could say that I've been sick for past 2 weeks and I feel frail, okay? Which means I feel very weak. Or you could say that what happened to you? You look kind of frail today, which means you look weak. Okay, so this is how you use these 3 words to kick very out of your vocabulary. Now we move to the next one, which is very slow or very fast. Okay, I need to tell the secret now. My phone these days is working real slow. So if I need to tell you guys that my phone is working very slow, I wouldn't say it like that, okay? I would instead use a very nice word to say that, which is my phone is sluggish these days, which means that it's very slow. So very slow means sluggish. So if you are also facing the same problem and you want to take your phone to the service center, what will you go and say there? You'll go there and tell them that my phone is sluggish these days, what can I do about it? Which means it's very slow. And if you have someone in your family who is like kind of lazy, you could say that, hey, you're so sluggish. That's how you use it, okay? Now, the opposite of very slow is very fast, okay? Of course, we all know that. But what do you think can we use in English to replace very fast? Well, okay, have you heard the word Swift? Yeah, that's the name of a hatchback car, Swift, and it's also a sedan. So that's where this word comes from. It comes from a car which is swift. Swift in English means something which is very fast. So fast can be called as swift. Okay, so either sluggish or swift, these are the two opposites that you can use to talk about very slow or very fast. Now let's move to the next one. Very busy. What happens during Christmas? How do the streets look and how do the malls look? Don't they look very busy? Right? They do, isn't it? So you can say very busy to such a place. Or if you think you are very busy, then what will you say? I'm very busy, I can't do these assignments, okay? In such a situation, you would say that I'm swamped and I can't do these assignments, which means that you have so much work to do that you can't do the assignments. So very busy can be replaced by swamped. Swamped is almost like you have all the work falling on top of you and you don't know where to start, where to end. Now the next one is very crowded. So as I was talking, that if the streets are packed on Christmas, you often say that they are very crowded, okay? But instead of that, you could also say that the streets are packed, which means that there's not even the space to move an inch. Okay, because you see people all around the place, people are out buying gifts. So very crowded could stand for packed. You could say that the malls are packed during Christmas, so I don't like to go shopping that time. Okay, now let's kick very further away, which is very happy. So what do we use to replace very here? Now there's a very interesting word which is thrilled. So when you're very excited or very happy like I am right now, that's when you use thrilled. So if you give a good news to somebody, they usually become very happy to find out about it. Like last Sunday, you could say, last Sunday I got the news of my admission in Atlanta and my aunt was thrilled to hear about it, which means she got excited and so happy about it. Okay. Now with that, we move to the next one, which is very scary. Do you like horror movies? Well, I really don't like them. Okay, have you seen this movie, The Ring? Well, that's a horror movie which is very, very scary, okay? Now, when I want to talk about that movie, I will say that the movie is horrifying, okay? Instead of saying very scary, I would choose to say that it's horrifying. Okay, now let's move to the other side of the board and look at some more phrases that we have. Very good. Okay, so the only thing that I can think about when I read this pair is of my friend Josh. Okay, he's got amazing math skills. Like you take any problem to him and he would solve it. And I always tell him that your math skills are outstanding, okay, which means that they are very good. So you can use outstanding or mind-blowing So you could use outstanding or mind-blowing for something which is so good, okay? Now the next one is very lucky. Now as I was telling you about my friend Josh, who's got great math skills, I am very lucky to have him as a friend because whenever I have a problem, I run to him, okay? So very lucky, I could say that I'm fortunate to have a friend like Josh, which means I'm very lucky. So fortunate. Okay, now the next one is very brave. What kind of a person are you? Brave or not brave? Okay, if you are a brave person, you could say that I don't have any fear. And who is such a person? So a person who does not have fear is called fearless. And that's the word you can use to replace very brave. Are you a fearless person? Let me know in the comments. Okay, now very respected. Okay, This is used for an institution or an organization which is respected by everyone around the world. Which university can you think of which is highly respected? Well, to my mind, the first one is Harvard University. If somebody gets admission in Harvard University, it's just amazing, right? And you would possibly tell them in response, hey, you got admission in Harvard? That's the most prestigious university in the world. You got me right. So if you want to replace very respected, you will say prestigious, which means very respected or recognized. Prestigious. Okay, so this is the word for you, prestigious. The next one is very sincere. Okay, now if you compliment your friend that, wow, you got admission in the most prestigious university, he would want to thank you, okay? And he might say, my heartfelt thanks to you, which means I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, okay? These are called sincere thanks or honest and truthful thanks. So very sincere can be translated into heartfelt, okay? Which means from the bottom of my heart. So if someone has helped you, you could say that, my heartfelt thanks to you for helping me. Okay, so if you think that all that I'm saying is just so correct and so spot on, so accurate, then you would tell me, Michelle, you're saying the exact thing. That's the word you use to replace very with accurate. So if something is so correct, so accurate, you say that it's exact, okay? Exact. Now, if you want to impress your girl by giving her a compliment, and that too by using good vocabulary, instead of telling her tomorrow that you look beautiful or you look very beautiful, you could tell her, you look gorgeous today. Okay, that's another word that you can use in place of very beautiful. And we will end this lesson on an important note, and that note is, how do we replace the word very with important? So anything which is extremely important in English is also known as vital, okay? V-I-T-A-L, vital. But remember, we don't start the word with a Y, but we started with a V. So vital means something very important. Can you think of something very important? Well, I can think of paying attention during driving. Isn't it important? So you'll say that it's vital to pay attention while driving. Whoa, here we are. You've already kicked very out of your vocabulary. Congratulations. So in this lesson today, you have finally learned how to replace the word very with some extremely useful words in English. So thank you so much for watching this lesson with me. I'll see you guys soon in another lesson. Till then, you keep smiling and enjoy your time. Bye-bye.